Good afternoon. It is Valerie here, coming to you before I log off, clock off, and switch off for the day. I've had a 90-minute webinar today talking about staying resilient, and one of the questions that came out at me was how do I personally maintain a resilient mindset? So the things that we talked about, the three areas that we look at for resilience. We look at your purpose resources, your personal resources, and your work resources. And this was coming out of, I guess, the purpose resources, right? Where I was talking about we have a tendency, for those of us who burn out, we have a tendency to attend to criticism, and we get really quite invested in it. And I was talking about feedback. So here's the thing. How do you actually maintain a healthy mindset, knowing that you are going to be your worst enemy, your worst critique anyway? And what I had to say was, well, you actually have to know who you're asking feedback from and know the right reasons for asking feedback. As human beings, if we are used to attending to a critical voice, maybe because of the way that we were brought up, and then we just naturally got used to having our own critical voice for ourselves, we may have a tendency to seek confirmatory bias, meaning we will look for people whom we are trying to win over, whom we're trying to please, really for the wrong reasons, that confirms our critical bias, right? We will tend to be drawn to people that are tougher on us, who are probably more aloof, who are avoiding us, or who have in the past given us critical feedback that hasn't been fair or objective or for our building up. And we may actually then seek to pursue those people to continue to give us feedback in a way of a confirming bias, but also because we just may know none the wiser, stuck in a kind of a prison loop. So if you're going to ask for feedback, you've got to know who to ask feedback from, and you've got to have the right reasons for asking feedback. Who to ask? They're the people that you admire, who already have a track record with you of giving you objective feedback that includes encouragement and positive input, as well as things that you can do that they're constructive. They're the sort of people that give you feedback that isn't personal, that hasn't got to do with you having to change your whole person. For example, if someone said to me that I needed to give up being visionary or being innovative, that's like a criticism of me. Like I'd have to give up myself. If, however, someone said to me whom I trusted, who has a tendency to give me objective feedback in your innovation, think about how you're going to be practical. Think about how you're going to budget for that. You think about how you're going to bring people along without making them feel anxious. That's constructive criticism. That's got very little to do with who I am and what I can do to improve. So make sure you are asking people whom you admire, who know you, who are growing you, who have given objective, balanced feedback. Then know the right reason for feedback. Don't seek feedback because that's just another way for you to confirm your negative view of yourself. There's no point seeking feedback because you already feel lousy about something and now you want to feel more lousy about that. That happens, right, when we are used to actually being in a cycle where we believe that achievement comes from criticism. The more we criticize ourselves, the more we get people to criticize us, the better we're going to be. Don't get stuck in that. Don't ask feedback for that reason, right? Don't ask for feedback because you want to be someone else. You're trying to be someone else, and so you want to get feedback to change who you are. Ask for feedback when you have come to peace and acceptance that you are human and that there are some areas that you're being goal directed and you want to get towards that goal and you need some feedback of how you're going to get there. For example, if you're looking for ways that you can improve the webinar that you've just delivered, and you've got a couple of criteria that you're working on, presentation, visibility, the technical side of it, your clarity, your concepts, whether it drilled and was it practical enough, have some criteria for what you're looking for feedback for that is goal directed. Goal directed can also be for your own personal growth. If you've come to a personal recognition that there are some areas that you're trying to grow in, mature in, whether it's a competence or a skill or a part of your character like patience, well, then ask specifically for feedback on the behavior and the things that could be seen that worked well or was positive, as well as the areas that can be worked on to enhance or improve or to grow, right? So be very clear when you're asking for feedback. The thing that I said today was, how do I keep myself in a healthy mindset? Basically by knowing who to ask feedback from and knowing what feedback I'm looking for, and being very, very clear the difference of just confirming my own critical mindset and seeking other more critical people to confirm that, versus actually having an objective, clear view of what I'm trying to grow in and where I'm trying to actually problem solve and rectify towards an outcome. All right, time to go. Bye.